Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It is now time for the feature race for IFMC GP2. Sorry if you heard that a little earlier on. As you can see, if you didn't see what happened in qualifying yesterday, it was quite close between the top three, I would say. But in the end, it was Felix Rosenqvist who yet again took pole position for the 7th time this season, with Pierre following suit in 2nd place, and Lando Norris rounding out the top 3 in the end. And so that's that really. And so, as you can see, we have 37 laps of action for this feature race here at Imola, and hopefully it will be a fantastic race. So, before we start then, guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for the feature race here at Imola. Here we go then. So on pole position is Felix Rosenqvist with Pierre in 2nd. Lando Norris is in 3rd with George Russell in 4th. Luca Ghiotto starts in 5th with Lance Stroll in 6th position. Nato starts 7th with Sergey in 8th position. Sergey Sirotkin starts 9th with Lynn in 10th position. 11th on the grid is Nyck de Vries, followed by Jolyon, who starts in 12th. 13th on the grid is Jolyon. 14th on the grid is Mitch Evans. 15th on the grid goes to Sasha Fenestraz. Alongside him is Luca Ghiotto in 16th position. 17th on the grid is Louis Razia, followed by Nobuharu Mashishita in 18th. 19th on the grid is Joey Vips, followed by Joel Eriksson in 20th. And on the back row of the grid, it is Dan Ticktum, and due to his qualifying ban, Santiago Uicia is in 22nd and last. And that is the grid for the feature race here at Imola. So there is the grid then, guys, for the feature race, and the weather is cloudy, and as you can see, it is going to be dry for a majority of it, but towards maybe the back end of the race, we might expect a little bit of rain shower. But as you can see, it is dry for the majority of the race with cloud cover, so leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to the feature race. So, here we are then, here for the feature race here at Imola. It's Rosenqvist on the right of your screens, Gasly on the left, who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of the feature race here at Imola, here for 37 laps of action. 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And it is going for the feature race here at Imola, and it seems to be a good start from the front two. It looks like Rosenqvist might have a better start compared to Gasly as they go down towards the first few turns on the track now then. As they all sprint their way down towards first goal. In fact, Norris has had a good start. He's jumped Gasly, tries to have a look at Rosenqvist, but has to tuck back as going through the first few turns. Rosenqvist leading, good start from Ghiotto to get to 3rd place. Everybody got through okay. There's a few locking ups going on at the back of the field, but I think everybody's got through the first corner okay. No major incidents to report, which is a good thing. Rosenqvist leads, followed by Norris, but Ghiotto having a look at him into the corner, but it looks like Gasly's on the outside of Ghiotto into the Villeneuve chicane, and Gasly retakes 3rd from him there as everybody tries to jockey their way through for positions as they go down towards the hairpin. Everybody gets through those corners okay, and wow, Uicia bringing up the rear of the field as they go down towards the left-hander now then. It's Rosenqvist who leads, but Norris is closing him down, looking to try and grab the lead from the Swede now then as they make their way around Piratella for the first time. Kamara's had a good start. He's Danny inside Sergey Kamara, and he takes 4th with ease. Sergey Kamara up into 4th place. It's 3-4 for Ecademy at this stage. Russell's had a terrible start. He's down to 6th. Tried to have a look at Ghiotto into the first part of Aquamilla Rally. Didn't quite make that work out. Now he's holding up a train as there's more side-by-side action behind de Vries and Sirotkin fighting out for 11th. Sirotkin's not had a good start. He's dropped 3 places from the start of the race as they all make their way up the hill as Rosenqvist still leads from Norris, Gasly, Sergey Kamara, Ghiotto, Russell, Nato and Stroll, who brings up the top 8 at this stage. As they go down towards Vatsa for the first time today, Rosenqvist continued to lead the way, but Norris still keeping him honest as he tries to close him in for the lead of the race. Norris looking for his 2nd victory, his first since the feature race at Bahrain. It's been a while since he's taken the top step of the podium as they go up now towards the final chicane on the track. Rounding these section of corners, it's obviously dried up since qualifying, of course, as meantime now then on the end of lap 1 of 37 here at Imola, it's Rosenqvist who leads with Norris in 2nd, Gasly 3rd, Sergey Kamara 4th, Ghiotto 5th, Russell 6th, Nato 7th, and Stroll who rounds out the top 8 as they make their way down towards the first corner on the track now. Then Nato trying to get a run on Russell if he can down towards the first corner. He's going to look to the inside. Will he get the move done? No, Russell shutting the door into the first few corners on the track as Lynn and Palmer fight it out for 9th place at the moment. as they all go around the section of corners. Some overtaking going on. Ericsson takes 20th there from Vips, so he gets up a position there as they all go around these corners. Gasly starting to close in now on the top three. He's looking to get a little bit more racy in this race now then, as they make their way up the hill towards Piratella, and Gasly looking to try and make his way up through the field as best as possible. In towards Piratella we go. Norris still trying to keep himself honest between himself and Rosenqvist. Coming off of Piratella, Sirotkin looking strong in 4th place at the moment. Russell leaving Nato for dust now then. As meantime, it looks like Palmer's been passed by Lynn. He has Lynn up to 9th place. Stroll had a go at Nato, but didn't make the mistake. Now Lynn trying to capitalise on that if he can. In fact, there's a whole form of cars starting to form up at Aquamilarali now then. Down towards Aquamilarali as Russell starts to close in onto the backside of Luca Ghiotto as he tries to make up for lost time after his poor start to the race. As now they come down towards Ravazza now then. And as you can see, Russell trying his best to get the move done on Ghiotto in front. As Gasly comes out of Ravazza 2 now then in towards the final 3 turns. And Gasly, will he try and get the move done on Lando Norris into the final corner? What's the gap between him and Norris at this stage as they start lap 3 of the race? In fact, I want to see what the gap is like between Rosenqvist and Norris as they make their way down towards the first few turns on the track. Rosenqvist sets the fastest lap of 1 minute 29.841. I think that's said as they go through the first few turns. It's 1.5 seconds between the pair of them, 0.7 between Norris and Gasly at the moment. Sirotkin trying to close in as well. Meantime, Russell all over the backside of Ghiotto as he looks to try and grab 5th place from the Italian. He looks to the inside into Villeneuve, but Ghiotto having none of it, closing the door into the first part of Villeneuve there. And now into the hairpin we go. Look like Ghiotto was thinking of going a little defensive but thought better of it, as now they make the way round the left hand and adding up towards Piratella. Will Russell try and get the move done on Ghiotto into Piratella? He's got a run on him. Will he try and go for the move? Ghiotto goes defensive, but Russell doesn't flick it back to the inside and tucks back behind him as they go down towards Aquamilarali. And Russell having a look to the inside into Aquamilarali, but again Ghiotto covers him off, and that might bring Nato and Stroll back into play. Stroll close back up to the backside of Norman Nato now then, as Palmer just holding up a train himself going up the hill. As meantime, Urish is still at the back of the field, and that's that really as far as he's concerned. As meantime, Gasly still trying to get the pressure on Norris at the moment. Sirotkin, as mentioned, also starting to close in as well onto this battle, so he's looking at an interest if he can as they go around the final few turns on the track and in towards the last chicane we go. Gasly flicking the car in through the corner as they go down the pit straight now then towards the first 3 corners on the track. And Gasly, will he try and get the move done on Lando Norris as they now go in towards the first 3 turns now then. And so now through turn 1, then turn 2, and then around turn 3 we will go. And they will soon approach the Villeneuve chicane. And let's see, through towards Villeneuve we go. And now through the right-hander, coming off the turn. And now into the left-hander we go. And he's definitely closing in into the corners at the moment. Norris at the moment seems to drop back a little bit because Gasly's putting him in under so much pressure. And pretty soon maybe Sirotkin will probably start to pile the pressure on him as well. Through towards Piratella we go. Heading down towards the 2 Aquamilarali corners. And Gasly looking to try and find a way through on Norris as best as possible now then, as they come up now to up the hill towards the chicane. And that's that really. Through the chicane we go. Sirotkin still lurking in the distance a little bit. Russell trying to close back in. Nato still defending. It looks like Lynn has now got up to that battle himself as 2 cars have broke away. Sirotkin now pretty much holds a train up himself out of the chicane. As meantime now it looks like Stroll's having a little go at Nato there, but couldn't quite make the move stick. Through Ravazza 1 and 2 we go now then on the track. And coming off the turn towards the final few corners we go. And will Stroll try and get the move done on Nato as they will approach the final chicane. Round the left and right hander we go. And coming off the turn, heading down the pit straight. And Stroll, can he try and get the move done on Lando Norris as they now head down the straight now then towards the first few turns. Heading into the first corner, will he try and get the move done on Nato? And again, Nato shutting the door through turn 1 as Lynn still within touching distance of this battle at this stage. Gasly's still not within the slipstream, and Norris at the moment still trying to keep him honest at this stage, probably struggling to get within the slipstream of the Brit as they go uphill towards Piratella. And Sirotkin now getting close to his teammate. Could be a scrap between the two Ecademy teammates at this stage. Oliver Glazebrook might feel a little bit of nerves at the moment as these two look to duke it out for third place. Down the hill they go now then towards the two Aquaminerali corners. Up the hill now then towards the chicane. And now into that chicane we go. And now through the right and left-hander now then, as Kamara just goes around those sets of corners down towards Lavazza. And I look at the fuel loads now that we've got a little bit of peace in the field, and I would expect the mandatory pit stops. Gasly's running very light, as we said. The mandatory pit stops to start around about, I want to say, lap 17 to 26. We'll probably see the mandatory pit stops come into an effect. It'd be nice to have some pit stops after last week at Budapest, of course, because Budapest we didn't have any pit stops because for some reason the modder didn't even program pit stops on the up-to-date Budapest track, which is why next season we're reverting back to the 80s layout of that track. As we now go in towards the first few turns on the track, around we go now then, around the first 3 corners into the Villeneuve chicane now then, as Gasly flicks the car in. It looks like he's losing some time now to Norris as a result. Stroll's still stuck behind Nato. Russell's starting to fall back onto this battle as well. Looks like he might have lost some more time now to Ghiotto as Nato goes defensive because Stroll's still giving him a hard time at the moment. Round the left-hander we go now then, up towards Piratella we will now go. Will Stroll try and get the move done on Nato in front, in towards Piratella. Nato defends the inside, and rightfully so, no moves there. As the meantime now then, De Vries down the inside of Palmer. Will he get 10th from the Brit? And he does. Up into 10th place goes Nyck. De Vries getting the move done on Palmer. Stroll has a look at Nato, but isn't able to make the move stick, and now Lynn is right onto the back of him at the moment, as Evans had a go at Fenestras there, but Fenestras shutting the door, and Galar and Razia close up as a result. As they all make their way around the chicane. Stroll goes defensive in case Lynn tries to do a pop down the inside of the chicane, but he doesn't. They remain single file into that chicane now then, as they make their way down towards the 2 Ravazza corners. And will he try and get the move done on him now then? Into Ravazza 1 we go, as he tries to get within the slipstream. Through Ravazza 1 and then into Ravazza 2 we will go, as they now make their way down towards the final 3 turns on the track. And so that's that really. And now into the final 2 turns we go. And as you can see now then, Lynn trying to get within the slipstream now then of Stroll. Can he try and get the move done into the first 3 turns on the track now? Then he tucks up into the slipstream. He looks to the inside. Will Lynn get this one pulled off down the inside? But no, Stroll shutting the door through to turn 1 as Palmer shutting the door on Sirotkin there. Sirotkin trying to challenge him at this stage of the race, as Sirotkin getting up close now to his teammate, and even Ghiotto is starting to close in as well onto that battle, so he fancies his chances as well, as Norris has now pulled a bit of a gap now between himself and Gasly, so he's starting to up the pace a little bit. But Rosenqvist still leading in front, not by much though. Norris still within touching distance of Rosenqvist at this stage, so he hasn't really got away that much as a lot of people were probably expecting. But Rosenqvist in front for the meantime. Sirotkin trying to pile the pressure on Gasly in front if he can, as they now make their way into the right-left chicane. Around we go, out of the turn now, they're heading down towards the 2 Lavazza corners, and both academies doing a good job in this race now then. Ghiotto trying to close in as best as possible in that Eastman's racing car through Lavazza 1 and 2. And I'll have a look and see what the gap is like in a little bit between Gasly and Sirotkin as they make their way in towards the final 2 turns. And so into the final 2 turn, what's the gap between the 2 Ecademy teammates now then, as Rosenqvist starts lap 8 to 37 then, so including this lap, 30 laps remaining in this feature race. And the gap between Gasly and Sirotkin as they both head their way down towards turn 1, 2 and 3 is now, let's have a look, 1.5 seconds. That's how it looks. 2.1 between Sirotkin and Ghiotto at the moment. Ghiotto trying to slowly close into that group as best as possible. Stroll has still not been able to catch up to Nato. He's still got Lynn all over the backside of him. Vries now starting to close in. Is unseen by the cameras. Sirotkin up into 11th place. So up to Pierre and goes Sergey. Sirotkin is now Palmer's into the clutches of a few cars. In fact, Sasha Fenestraz, Mitch Evans, Sean Goliath, and even his own teammate Louis Razia. At the moment, Nobuhara Mashita is holding up his own team, consisting of Tictum, Yora, Ericsson, and Vip. Shirishi is still towards the back of the field at the moment. He hasn't really made any progress since the start, since he had his qualifying ban. As now through towards the right-hander goes Sirotkin as he makes his way up the hill now, then to try and get hold of Gasly in front, as they will now approach the right-left chicane. So let's see now then as they make their way around the chicane. Out at the turn now, then we go. Before approaching the two Lavazza corners. And now down towards Lavazza 1. And as you can see, we've got still got some cloud cover, as mentioned. We saw in the weather forecast, we are expecting rain towards the end of the race, perhaps. But whether it will actually hit the track before that point, I don't know. It did say plus 2 hours, so I doubt we might get some rain like we did in with GP3 qualifying yesterday, where we thought there'd be rain, but there wasn't. But we'll wait and see on that as the race progresses now then. The gap between Sirotkin and Gasly now then, as they make their way down towards the first few turns on the track, is now, it was 1.5 seconds last time around, it's now up to 1.8 seconds, so Gasly's up the pace by 0.3 of a second, and at the same time Sirotkin has increased the gap between himself and Ghiotto by 1/10, so it's up to 2.2 seconds between the pair. Then Russell starting to close back in onto Ghiotto now then, as Nato has started to fight, looks like he's still got a bit of a gap in for the Stroll. Still trying to shake off Lynn at this stage. Lynn still hasn't got off him at this stage of the race. As up the hill goes George Russell as he tries to chase down Luca Ghiotto in front as they make their way around Piratella there. Then George Russell round the left hander he goes as he heads down the hill towards Aquaminerali. As a bit of a lock-up there from Ghiotto, showing he's pushing hard to try and chase down Sirotkin, but that could allow Russell to close up a little bit more in this race. So that's that for him. As Norris now then, I'll be interested to see what the gap is like between him and Rosenqvist at the moment in this race. Heading down towards Lavazza 1 we go. And then into Lavazza 2 we will go. Round that left-hander he goes out of the turn before approaching the final few corners on the track. And let's see then what the gap is like between Rosenqvist and Norris this time by round the left and then the right we go. And the gap between Rosenqvist and Norris is now, let's have a look, as Norris crosses the line. The gap between them is on lap 10 of 37, so 28 laps remaining, is now, let's have a look, 3 seconds. So 3 seconds exactly is the gap between Rosenqvist and Norris. 1.6 seconds the gap between Gasly and Norris. As it's up to 1.9 now between Sirotkin and Gasly. So Gasly up in the pace by another 1/10 there that time by. As Russell tries his best to try and harry down Ghiotto in front to try and grab 5th place. At this stage he's going to be losing some more points to Rosenqvist in the Drivers' Championship if it remains like this. The team has already settled the team's championship at the moment, so that championship is settled with. It's now seeing who's going to win the Drivers' Championship now then between the two Red Bull Academy teams. It's looking more likely it's going to be one of those two that'll win the championship, either Rosenqvist or Russell, as it seems that Norris, Gasly, Sirotkin and co are just too far back at the moment. They're still within touching distance, but they need a lot of luck if they want to win the championship this season. So it's looking like it's going to be a Red Bull Academy perhaps that will go on to win the championship this season, as Russell goes around the chicane. Out of the turn he goes now then, as he tries to chase down Ghiotto in front for 5th place, as Norris currently in 2nd place, but Gasly still trying to give him grief behind, as it was 1.6 seconds. I wonder if Gasly's gained a little bit as he was pulling away at the same time to Sergio Sirotkin. And so out of the chicane now then we go, and the gap between Gasly and Norris as we start lap 11 of 37, so 27 laps to go in this race now then, is now, let's have a look, through towards the first few turns, 1.7 seconds. So in fact Norris has upped the pace by another 1/10 there that time by to get it up to 1.7. And still the guys are still within touching distance of Rosenqvist. Not really much going on towards the front of the field as Stroll has now pulled a bit of a gap between himself and Lynn. Looks like Vries is trying to close up at the moment. Lynn finding himself in a GOM Junior sandwich at the moment as Palmer's now pulled away a bit from Fenestras. And what has happened to Evans? Evans is in the pits. Why is he in the pits? He's got a throttle problem, that's why. Evans is back in the pits with a throttle problem. So, problems there for Mitch Evans in the VorteX racing car as he finds himself down in 22nd with heavy fuel. So he's had to change his strategy around a little bit. I'm trying to work that out in my head. I think that will actually get him to the end of the race. So a change of strategy then for Mitch Evans. So he had the throttle problem has allowed him to change his strategy, and he'll rejoin in last place. But not great for Mitch Evans as he came into the pits with a throttle problem. As now Norris goes up the hill to try and chase down Rosenqvist as best as possible, but so far he's just a little bit too far in front at this stage now then, as Norris makes his way around the chicane. Out the turn he goes before he approaches the double right-hander of Ravazza. So into Ravazza we go now then, through Ravazza 1 and then into Ravazza 2. Coming off the turn now then, as they now head their way down towards the final 3 corners on the track. Around he goes now then in towards the chicane. As let's see the gap between Rosenqvist and Norris this time by as we start lap 12 of 37 in this race now then. As they go down towards the first few turns. It is 3.3 seconds. So from the last time we checked, Rosenqvist is up the gap by 0.3 of a second. So not really much from those couple of laps really. So Norris still really keeping him honest so far in this race as they make their way around the Villeneuve chicane. Norris now then up towards the left-hander we go. Sirotkin still keeping his teammate honest at the moment as he looks to try and get the final podium place off his teammate. And so now coming off towards the up towards the Piratella now then we will go. And now flicking the car through the left-hander out of the turn now then as they make their way down the hill towards the 2 Acqua Minerale corners. And up the hill we go as they will now approach the chicane. And let's see then what Sirotkin can do as he rounds the right-left chicane on the track as he tries to try and get Pierre Gasly in front for 3rd place as they make their way down towards Ravazza 1 and 2. And so round Ravazza 2 we go. And that's that then really. And coming around the final few turns we go. And Sirotkin now then goes around the final 2 corners now then. And let's see what the gap is like between the pair of them now then at this stage. And in towards the first 3 corners we go. And the gap now between the pair of them is 1.9 seconds. So it's the same from the last time we actually checked on them. Ghiotto is falling back more, 3.4 seconds. In fact, Russell looking like he's 1.7 seconds back from Ghiotto. It looks like he's going to be trying to give him a hard time at the moment. At this stage, Ghiotto probably a little bit more wary of Russell than what he is to Sirotkin in front of him at this stage of the race as they now make their way around the left-handed hairpin. So up the hill then we go before approaching the left-handed Piratella. And so Russell now then up towards Piratella we will go. And let's see then what Russell can do as he tries to reel in on Ghiotto in front of him at the moment. Up the hill now then towards the chicane, the right-left chicane on the track. And trying everything he can to pile the pressure on him at the moment as Nato continues to get away a bit now from Stroll. Stroll having 2 cars behind him, probably trying to chase him down at this stage of the race. As Evans still trying to catch up to the rest of the pack after he came in to repair that throttle problem he had a little earlier on. Here's Rosenqvist now then, about to start lap number 14 of 37 in this race. So we will have 24 laps to go when he... sorry, not 24... Yeah, 24 laps to go when he's just crossed the line now then. And I would expect the mandatory pit stop to come around about in a few laps time. So expect the mandatory pit stops to start in around about 3 to 4 laps time now then. So just be wary of that as Here is Gasly now then, who will approach the Villeneuve chicane as he flicks the car around through these section of corners. No major mistakes so far, it must be said. I mean, we've seen a lock-up from Ghiotto earlier, but nothing really major going on in terms of mistakes in this series at the moment in GP2. So everybody keeping it very cleanly at this stage. As Gasly now then makes his way up towards Piratella now then, as he flicks the car round the left-hander, heading down the hill towards the 2 Aquaminerali corners. And up the hill we go as Gasly tries to get hold of Norris in front of him as they make their way in towards that chicane. And now flicking the car in through the right and left-hander, and using quite a lot of curb on the outside there then, as they go down towards the 2 Ravazza corners. As into Ravazza 1 we go, and now into Ravazza 2. Gasly trying to pile the pressure on Norris as best as possible in this race now then, as they make their way around the final few turns. And let's see what the gap is like between Gasly and Norris this time. Bias to start lap 15 of 37, 23 laps remaining in this race now then, as they go in towards the first few turns on the track. And the gap is round turn 1 and then 2 and 3. It is 1.8 seconds between the pair of them. So that's how that looks at this stage, 1.8 seconds. As Russell looks like he's fell back now a little bit. It is now up to 1.8 seconds. So Russell losing time now to Ghiotto and not really making much progress at this stage. Everybody just separating themselves out just a little bit. No major battles apart from the one at the back between Vips and Euro. Now they need to have been having scraps throughout the season, it must be said, towards the back end of the field. Vips though getting on Euro. Euro defends the inside and keeps hold of 18th place. Vips wasn't even close enough that time around to possibly pop a move on him there. So that was that really, but he's going to have a look again into the Villeneuve chicane. Will he make this one work? No, Euro shutting the door again into that chicane and holds on to 18th place at this stage. Urisha trying to close in onto the backside of Joel Eriksson. Eriksson and Urisha not having a good race at the moment and probably would like to move on to the sprint race tomorrow if they can, but there's still quite a long way to go in this race. We still need to get to the mandatory pit stop stages at the moment before that even occurs, as they make their way around Piratella there. Meantime, Gasly currently third at the moment, as his teammate Seto Kamara tries everything in his power to try and reel in Gasly in front as they go into the last chicane on the track. Around the left, then the right, and then heading down the pit straight. And as you can see, what's the gap now then between Seto Kamara and Gasly as they make their way in towards the first few turns on the track. And the gap is, let's have a look, the gap being 1.8 seconds, so the same gap as it was last time around. So both Gasly and Seto Kamara lapping around about the same pace as each other this time by, as we're now on lap number 16 of the race. So around about 1 or 2 laps time we should see the mandatory pit stops get underway, and might shake a few things up in the pecking order at this stage, but we will wait and see. Gasly still keeping Norris honest at this stage, as Norris still not anywhere near Rosenqvist at the moment to try and challenge him for the lead of the race, as they now make their way down towards the 2 Aquaminerali corners. And up the hill we go now then, in towards the chicane. And let's see then what Gasly can do as he tries to chase down Norris in front of him. Around the right left chicane. Out of the turn we go, using all the curb on the outside as they make their way down towards the double left-hander of Ravazza 1 and 2. And now down towards those section of corners we go. Around Ravazza 1 and then into Ravazza 2 we will go, as Gasly tries to chase down Norris in front of him at this stage. Around the final few turns we go, and round the left and then the right as we head down the pit straight. And so now in towards the first few turns we will go, and Gasly currently in third place at the moment, trying to chase down Norris in front of him at this stage. Around the chicane we go, as they go down towards the Villeneuve chicane, and he is actually pitting this lap then. So Gasly pitting at the end of this lap for his mandatory pit stop. Anybody else planning to join him this lap? It looks like maybe, yes, Goliath's pitting, as is Razia, as is anybody else. It doesn't, I'm trying to look if anybody else is doing a pit stop. It doesn't appear like it. It looks like Eurytia might be pitting in a little bit as well. So, yeah, he's pitting, so that's that for him. As now we look at Felix Rosenqvist, who comes up the hill towards the two Aquaminerali corners now then, into the chicane, as he continues to lead the race at this stage. But Gasly is expected to pit at the end of this lap as he looks to try and leapfrog Norris in front of him. And Seti Kamara hoping to do the same on his teammate once he makes a pit stop. Obviously Seti Kamara having to stay out because Gasly's going in, and I don't think Ecademy would want to double stack the pair of them, as it's looking good for them to get a very good haul of points in the team's championship as they look to try and get second in the team's championship in their battle with EMR, Macamo, EMR, Lightbase Sony Racing, themselves, and probably VorteX and Macamo are probably in that scrap as well. Into the pits then goes Pierre Gasly in the Ecademy car, as they will put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel on the Frenchman's Ecademy car now then, as he gets a wipe at the visor now then. Let's see how quick the stop's going to be then for Pierre Gasly, as the mandatory pit stops are now underway in this lap. And so now he finishes off his pit stop, and it's an 11.2 second stop for Pierre Gasly. So let's see where he's going to rejoin then, as it looks like the Holy Trinity Racing mechanics are getting ready for Nobuharu Matsushita. I would have thought it would be. Where's Gasly going to rejoin? He comes out onto the track, and it's Sean Goliath. I do apologise. He rejoins in 13th position behind Sasha Fenestraz. So that's where he rejoins. He rejoins just in front of Nobuharu Matsushita, as Vips is in, Razzie is in, and as is Goliath. So these guys are making their pit stops at this stage. Ericsson trying to chase down Yura for what will be 16th place. And so Ericsson looks like he's got a lot more pace than what the Austrian has at this stage. As Goliath finishes off his pit stop, he's going to rejoin 18th, Razia 19th, Vips will be 20th, and Eurytia is still 21st. Rosenqvist is going to stay out for a little bit longer, but Ghiotto in the EMR is pitting at the end of this lap. Russell's going to be staying out for a couple of laps, so he'll be hoping to try and leapfrog Ghiotto in the pits if he can. Confirmation that Vips has just been in. Ghiotto rounding the chicane now, then round the right and left-hander, and confirmation that Eurytia has just been into the pits himself in the Macamo, as they now head down towards the two Lavazza corners. And Ghiotto will be heading into pit lane this time. Bayer will go straight on into the pits as they go around Ravazza 1 and 2. Heading out the turn now then towards the final few turns. And we'll see Ghiotto go straight on into the pits, which he does. So into the pits then goes Luca Ghiotto from 4th place. And he'll soon put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. And so now he's going to put on a fresh set of tyres. There's a clean wipe of the visor now. Then we go. As they get to work on his car. Also in is one of the GRMs. I believe that might be Lance Stroll that's into the pits for GRM Junior. So I think he's into the pits. It's a 10.9 second stop for Luca Ghiotto. And it is Lance Stroll who's in for GRM. So it'll be very interesting to see where he rejoins after he makes his stop. Looks like Dan Tictum's coming into the pits for RSPCA Racing as those mechanics are getting ready for a pit stop. And that's that really. Where is Tictum going to rejoin? He rejoins in 13th place. Ghiotto rejoins in 13th, not Tictum. I do apologise. He rejoins 13th in front of Yora. Stroll rejoins 16th behind Ericsson as Tictum makes his pit stop now then. As that's that for him really. Meantime, race leader Felix Rosenqvist is making a pit stop this lap. So the race leader, the Swede, will be coming in as he rounds that chicane. And then down towards the two Lavazza corners will go Felix. And we'll be seeing him peel into the pits a little bit later on now then. In towards the two Lavazza corners we will go. Around Lavazza 1 and Lavazza 2. And so they come out at the turn now then, heading in towards the final 3 corners. And let's see what Rosenqvist can do as he comes into the pits then. Into the pits comes Felix Rosenqvist from the lead of the race. As he will put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. As he'll get a change of tyres and obviously fuel as well. And let's see where he's going to be joining after the stop, as it leaves Norris temporarily in the lead of the race. I think, yes, Norris. But Kamara is into the pits for Ecademy. As through goes Russell. He's actually pitting at the end of this lap in the hopes of leapfrogging Ghiotto. Where's Rosenqvist going to rejoin then? As he trundles down pit lane. Alex Lynn is into the pits for Macamo. and Rosenqvist rejoins in 3rd position in front of Jolyon Palmer. So that's where the current championship leader comes out of, as Gasly tries to find a way through on Fennestrasse. This might not help him out in trying to leapfrog Norris. Luckily, Sirotkin has not got the jump on him. He rejoins just behind Matsushita, but just in front of Ghiotto. Ghiotto has caught up a lot of time now to Sirotkin as he tries to challenge him down for what will be a professional 4th place. At this stage, Lynn rejoins 12th, still behind Stroll, so he hasn't leapfrogged him, nor has Vries on Lynn in front. So as Ericsson makes his pit stop, through goes Evans to gain a few places, because he had to change his strategy after having the throttle problem, as Euro still rejoins in front of Ericsson after the pit stop. Looks like Urishi is going to go through the pair of them to get up into 20th place, so Ericsson is going to go down to the back. The pair of them have been leapfrogged as a result. Norris, though, is pitting at the end of this lap for his scheduled stop, as he looks to try and stay out in front of Gasly after the pit stop. Through towards the Ratsa 1 and 2 he goes, as his teammates been in earlier, Norman Nato to make a pit stop. And as Sirotkin also came in as well for EMR, Norris will go straight on, which he does, into the pits. Then goes Lando Norris from the lead of the race as he makes his way around the left-right chicane, as he'll put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. So let's see where Norris is going to rejoin in after the stop, as a clean wipe of the visor there for the Brit. Where is Norris going to rejoin now then? As there is Russell, he's into the pits for Red Bull Academy. Through goes Gasly, I think. No, it wasn't Gasly, was it? It was Rosenqvist to retake the lead of the race, so he's back through into the lead. Where is Gasly, though? That's the question. I think Norris is still way out in front. There's Gasly, only just coming down the pit straight. As a result of the hold-up, Norris still emerges in 2nd place. Gasly losing time in the pits as a result. And that's that really. Where's Russell going to rejoin? Where's Ghiotto? There's Ghiotto. Russell hasn't got the jump on him. He rejoins yet again in 6th and have to do some work on track, as it looks like Sirotkin is starting to pull away from Ghiotto again. And Russell will have to try and get Ghiotto on track if he wants 5th place in this race to ease the pain of him losing points to Rosenqvist in the Drivers' Championship. So not really much positions gained. While I say that, Goliath's actually got the jump on Palmer into the pit, so he gets up into 12th place. Willows Grand Prix not having a good race round here at this stage of the race, as now they make their way around through those section of corners. And that's everybody, I think, done with the pit stops, as they're now on lap 21 of 37 in this race now then. So 17 laps remaining. Confirmation that Russell had been into the pits early and rejoined in 6th place. Palmer's been in. He obviously just got leapfrogged by Sean Goliath, so Goliath finds himself up into 12th place. Palmer now having to fend off from his own teammate Louis Razia in this race. Meantime, Rosenqvist continuing to lead the way, and as Gasly's up to 2nd, what's happened to Norris? Norris has gone somewhere. Has he got a problem? There he is. He's spun. Norris has spun at Aquamilarali. Let's see what has happened. We just missed it. It looks like he must have lost it coming off the turn, and he's so lucky not to sustain any damage. But has he beached the car? Norris has spun off down at Aquamilarali, and well, that's the chance for the podium gone down the toilet for him. That now puts Sirotkin onto the podium, Gasly up to 2nd, so a double podium at the moment for Ecademy, and I think that now lifts Alex Lynn now into the points, if I'm correct. I think Alex Lynn now will find himself into the points. I might be wrong on that, but Norris able to get it going again, but he's lost a lot of time, and he's going to rejoin down at the back of the pack. Sergio Sirotkin now sets the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 29.785. He's now down to last place is Lando Norris, and that's the podium gone for him. But Sergio Sirotkin set the fastest lap of the race. Gap between him and his teammate is 2.8 seconds. Sergio Sirotkin, the fastest man out on track at the moment, as he makes his way around the Villeneuve chicane now, then coming off the turn, as they come up now then towards the left-hander, as they go around that section of corners. And it is Alex Lynn that's been bumped up into 8th place. He's still finding himself in a GRM junior sandwich, but gets up to 8th as a result of Norris's mistake down at Aquamilarali. So that's that for him, as they now make their way down towards the Piratella, up towards the Piratella I should say. And so he flicks the car in as he tries to chase down Stroll for 7th place, but at the same time he's trying to chase down Nato for 6th at the moment. But at this stage, he's, as a result of that mistake from Norris, he's going to lose more time to Gasly in their battle for 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, as it looks like Gasly will open it up to 8 points between himself and Norris thanks to that mistake. If he can just keep on a 2nd place at this stage of the race, Gasly coming off the turn now then, with Rosenqvist now having a huge lead as a result of Norris's mistake. So so that really is Rosenqvist makes his way down towards the first 3 turns on the track. As Kamara now then, let's see what the gap is like between him and Gasly this time by. It was 2.8 seconds last time by. He obviously set the fastest lap the previous lap around, but let's see with 15 laps to go what the gap is like between the 2 academies. Through the first few turns we go, and the gap is 2.3 seconds. So Kamara has actually taken 5 tenths out of Gasly. Sergey Kamara is lapping quicker than Gasly in front of him at the moment. Sergey Kamara is absolutely flying out there at the moment. He's finally got himself into a rhythm where he is settled after all the bad luck he's had so far this season. He's so far doing a good job, and he's starting to chase down teammate Gasly for 2nd place. Meantime, Russell is now starting to get all over the backside of Ghiotto as he tries to grab 4th from the Italian now. Then Ghiotto trying to impress his home fans here at Imola, as now they make their way down towards the Piratella. Round the left hand, there we go. And Russell then trying to get within the slipstream of Ghiotto if he can. Around Acqua Minerale we go. Up the hill now then towards the chicane. It looked like Russell had a better exit compared to Ghiotto coming out of that turn now then, as they will approach the right-left chicane. Around the chicane we go now then, heading down towards the 2 Lavazza corners. And so now down towards Lavazza 1 and 2 will soon go on the track, as Ghiotto flicks it through the first one. Looks like a bit of a lock-up there from Russell as he's pushing hard to chase down Ghiotto. That will cost him a little bit of time due to that lock-up, but he's still pushing hard to try and gain onto him at this stage now then, as they make their way into the chicane. What's the gap between the 2 teammates of Gasly and Sergey Kamara as they go down towards the first few turns on the track? And let's see now then, through the first turn, then the second turn, and the gap is now, let's have a look, 2 seconds. So another 3 tenths Kamara's taken out of him. Kamara gaining onto Gasly at a rate of knots at this stage, as it's 1.2 seconds between Ghiotto and Russell. Russell trying to close him down and cost himself a little bit of time, as you remember on the previous lap, by locking up into the first Ravazza corner, as they now approach the left-hander on the track. As Russell tries to pile the pressure in front of him there. Then Nato slowly closing in onto this scrap as well, so it could even be a 3-way scrap for 4th at this stage, maybe in a 4-way or even a 5-way or 6-way, because these cars are not far from each other. Sirotkin into the top 10, trying to chase down Nyck Vries for 9th place. As at this stage, with 14 laps to go, here is what the grid for the sprint race will come to look like. It will be Lynn who will be on pole, with Stroll 2nd, Nato 3rd, Russell 4th, Ghiotto 5th, Sergey Kamara 6th, Gasly 7th, and then Rosenqvist in 8th at the moment. But positions could still change in his remaining 13 and a bit laps of this feature race, as they make their way down towards Ravazza 1 and then 2 we go. Coming off the turn before approaching the final chicane on the track. And let's see what the gap is going to be like between Gasly and Sergey Kamara. And so heading down towards the first 3 corners on the track, and the gap between the 2 Academy teammates with 13 laps remaining is now, let's have a look, through the first 3 corners, 1.9 seconds. So Sergey Kamara only took a tenth at 1.9. Did that say, sorry? Yeah, I think it did say 1.9. So only a tenth Sergey Kamara gained on Gasly on that lap, so not really much, but he's still gaining onto the Frenchman at this stage as they make their way round the hairpin. As meantime now then, Russell still trying to pressure Ghiotto into some form of mistake as he looks to try and grab 4th place from the Italian as they make their way up towards Piratella. So into Piratella we go. Round the left hand, they go the pair of them now then. Out of the turn now then, heading down towards Acqua Minerale. And through they go up the hill towards the chicane. And let's see now then, as they will approach the final chicane. Sorry, the second to last chicane. Around the right and left hand, there we go. As Russell tries everything in his power to try and get hold of Ghiotto in front of him, to try and reduce the pain of the amount of points he's going to lose to Rosenqvist. At this stage, if it remains like this, the gap between Rosenqvist and the gap between Russell and Rosenqvist will, I believe, be either 14 or 15 points between them. That is what it will look like. I can't remember if Rosenqvist was 8 points ahead going into this race or 9 points. I can't 100% remember off the top of it, but you'll know by the end of the day anyway what the gap will be like if it remained like this. What's the gap between the two teammates in front? Still 1.9, so Gasly's starting to lap the same sort of pace as what Seta Kamara is running at the moment. 1.2, so both Ghiotto and Russell still lapping around about the same pace as each other at this stage of the race. So Russell not really getting onto Ghiotto as much as he would have anticipated at the moment in this race as they make their way around the left-hander. Coming off the turn now then before going up towards Piratella as he tries to get within the slipstream of Luca Ghiotto in front as they go in towards the left-hander. Flicking the car in through Piratella, and another lock up there from Russell showing he's pushing hard, resulting in understeer, and he had to get off the throttle a little bit just to correct the understeer, but that will cost him some more time between himself and Luca Ghiotto. Just a puff off the front left tyre there cost Russell just a little bit of time as Nato tries to gain onto him now then, as Nato looks to get 5th from championship contender George Russell. Coming off the chicane we will go. As meantime now then, unseen by the cameras, it does. Sorry, never mind. At the moment, Fenestrad's finding himself in a Willows Grand Prix sandwich. Evans 15th, but looks like he's being harried down by Nobuhara Mashishita behind us. Mashishita looking to challenge him for what I think that will be 15th place in the race. It is. So these two look to have a duke towards the end of the race, but only for 15th place. Disappointing for Evans, considering he's had a good run of form the last few races, but. This weekend he just doesn't seem to be up with the pace this weekend, it must be said. Rosenqvist goes around the left-hander in the Red Bull Academy as he will now head up the hill towards Piratella. And so now into Piratella we will now go. Around the left-hander now then. And so far continuing to lead in front of Gasly and teammate Seta Kamara. As now into Piratella. Still within touching distance is Seta Kamara on Gasly as they make their way down the hill towards the two Aquamilarali corners. And now through that right-hander they go, using all the curb on the outside as they will now approach the right-left chicane on the track. Into the chicane we go. Around the right, then the left, out of the turn we go, using all the curb on the outside there then. As they make their way down towards the two Lavazza corners, Lavazza 1 and 2, and so far we'll have a look and see what the gap is like in a little bit between these two. As soon as they will cross the line, of course, coming off the turn, and then up towards the final two corners will go Kamara and Gasly now then, as they make their way into the final chicane. Round the left and right hander we go, heading down the pit straight, and the gap between Gasly and Seta Kamara is now as they will approach the first 3 turns on the track. Let's have a look into turn 1 and then 2, and the gap being, let's have a look, 1.9 seconds. So they're still keeping that gap consistent. The pair of them are both still lapping around about the same pace as each other. 1.5 seconds the gap is up between Ghiotto and Russell, so Ghiotto only upped it by 3 tenths as a result of Russell having that lock up 2 laps ago that we didn't see the gap after he had that straight away, so I do apologise for that as Russell looks to try and gain back the time that he lost as a result. Sirotkin pushing hard to try and get up to Vries, but still not with him at this stage. As meantime unseen by the cameras, in fact he must have just got him down turn 1. Mashishita has passed Evans up to 15th place, goes no behind Mashishita, getting the move done on Evans, so up to 15th goes the Japanese driver, and so that will be that for him. And remember, Evans has been on those set of tyres for a long time since he had the throttle problem, so the fresher tyres are starting to kick in, and it's starting to show a downside of the throttle problem that Evans had during the race, as he's starting to possibly lose tyre grip at this stage, as we have 10 laps remaining here at Imola, as we're 10 minutes away from the 3 o'clock mark, so we're 40 minutes away from race 1 of IFMC GP3. Whether it'll be wet for that race, we'll wait and see, as Rosenqvist now starts lap 29 of 37, so 9 laps remaining in the race for race leader Rosenqvist as he comes out of the first 3 turns, as he will soon approach the Villeneuve chicane. Round the left and right hander he will go. So coming off the turn as he uses the curb on the outside in towards the left-handed hairpin he will go. And out of the turn now then, before he goes up towards Piratella. And so up towards Piratella then goes Felix Rosenqvist as he makes his way through the left-hander there then, the quick left-hander. As Kamara looks like he's still not getting up towards the pace, but I think third place will do him just nicely. Remember, when he was in GP3 just a little bit earlier in the season in Silverstone doing the one-off race for Willows Racing, he managed to get a podium, so in a way, it'd be nice if he got the podium here for GP2 as well, so pretty much be one of only few men, really, if you look at it, to get a podium in GP2 and GP3 in the same season. Probably the only man to probably do it as well, if you think about it. So as he come out of the chicane now, then Kamara trying his best still to try and get out of Gasly because he feels he can get a little bit more out of the car to try and get out of Gasly in front. But you have to question whether there'll probably be team orders at Ecademy to try and prevent Kamara from doing any rash moves on Gasly. Maybe a multi-map 1-2 perhaps could you know, settle things between these two as they make their way around the last chicane. But let's see now then, as we have 8 laps to go, as Rosenqvist started lap 30 of 37, the gap between Gasly and Seti Kamara as they make their way down towards the first 3 turns on the track is now, let's have a look, 1.9 seconds still, so they're still lapping the same pace as each other. Probably been told to just keep the lap times relatively the same, really, between the pair of them. And let's not forget, of course, trying to think off the top of my head, trying to think what I was going to say. I don't think I've actually forgotten what I was going to say now, so I do apologise for that. Meantime, Norris has managed to catch up. That was it. We've had no retirements so far in this race. Well, I'd say that Rosenqvist is out. The race leader is out. Oh, that's a big flip in the Drivers' Championship. Felix Rosenqvist has understeered off at Piratella and has smashed it into the wall. The race leader is out of the race. Pierre Gasly leads the feature race. It's an Ecademy 1-2. As a result, it will now put Ghiotto onto the podium. And, well, I was about to say that we had no retirement, but just as I said it, somebody crashed out. Rosenqvist out of the race. The race leader has cost himself a chance of increasing his lead in the Drivers' Championship. That's exactly what George Russell needed. And he's just seen Rosenqvist's car, realises he's out, and now realised the championship could be back on track for him because he realises now at this stage the gap will be either 3 or 4 points between the pair of them. Rosenqvist will close back up and will make it even sweeter for the fact that Rosenqvist will have to start 22nd tomorrow in the sprint race tomorrow, whereas Russell can start around about 5th and have a chance of victory. So it's all falling into place again for Russell as more bad luck kicks in for Felix Rosenqvist. It's something that he hasn't escaped from, but he's out after a dominant race. It now leaves Pierre Gasly leading the feature race ahead of his teammate. So it's an Ecademy 1-2 as a result. And wow, that will put a smiling face on Oliver Glazebrook's face, that's for sure. And probably now he'll get team orders in it. It's still 1.9 seconds between Gasly and Seti Kamara as they make their way around the Villeneuve chicane. And Gasly now then will go up towards that left-hander and up the gap between himself and Norris to 10 points now. As a result, as Norris now then trying to find a way through on Ericsson having nothing about it. Remember, these two had a rivalry in real life in Formula 3, which Norris just beat him to. And but seems that roles have changed recently. Seems Norris is more adapted to the GP2 car than what Ericsson is to the GP2 car, which is why he's languishing towards the back of the field this season. As we make the way now then towards the right-left chicane. Through the right and left-hander we go. Coming off the turn, using all the curb on the outside as they make their way down towards the 2 Lavazza corners. And so that's that for him, really. In towards Lavazza 1 we will go. And then into Lavazza 2. As they come off the turn now then before approaching the final chicane. And Seti Kamara now then trying everything he can to try and reel in Gasly for a potential victory if he can. But let's see the gap anyways. We have 6 laps remaining. On lap 32 of 37 now then in this race as we come up now then towards the first few turns on the track. And it's still 1.9 seconds between the pair of them now then as they make their way round turn 3. As they come up now then towards the left-right chicane. As through the chicane we go now then on the track. And as a result, who did that put in the points? It puts Vries into the points. So it looks like double points are going to be coming the way for Jolyon Jr. And it looks like pole position could be going to Vries' way tomorrow for the sprint race. But still, Sirotkin is trying to nip at him and look to try and get him towards the end of the race if he can, as they make their way round the Villeneuve chicane. So that's that for them really. Norris still stuck behind Ericsson at the moment as he looks to try and get 20th from the Swede as they go down towards the first few corners on the track. As they now in towards turn 1, will he try and get the move done? And isn't able to do so as Ericsson holds on to 20th at this stage as they now approach the chicane. Norris looking to the inside. Will he get the move done? And he does. Norris up into 20th place, getting the move done there then. So into 20th will go Lando Norris, as now we go in towards the final few corners on the track. And so through the left, then the right, and then down the pit straight we will go. And that's that really as far as they are concerned. As they go into towards the first 3 corners on the track, and the gap between them is down to 1.7 seconds. So in fact, Kamara has actually cut the gap to 0.2 of a second at this stage of the race as they make their way round the chicane now, then the Villeneuve chicane, and now up towards the left-hander we will go, and they come off the turn now then before approaching Piratella. And so now into Piratella will go Pierre, will go Gasly and Seti Kamara as they make their way round the left-hander and into the 2 Acqua Minerale corners as they make their way up the hill towards the chicane. And now into the chicane we go as they round the right and left-hander coming off the turn as they make their way into the chicane. And so now into Lavazza 1 and 2 we will go. And as you can see, Seti Kamara still trying to get hold of Gasly at this stage of the race now, then before approaching the final 3 turns. And now in towards the final 2 corners will go Gasly and Seti Kamara. And let's see what the gap is going to be like this time by. It was 1.7 in these remaining 4 laps of this feature race. Let's see what the gap is going to be like. It's 1.6 seconds. So Kamara taking another 10th out of Gasly's lead that time around. This race is probably not over between the 2 Academy guys. And Oliver Glazebrook might be getting a little bit worried at this stage now then, as they come up now towards the left-hander on the track. So around the hairpin now then as they'll go up the hill towards Piratella. And so now into Piratella will go Gasly and Seti Kamara as they flick the car round Piratella now then. Out of the turn we go before heading down the hill towards the 2 Acqua Minerale corners. Meantime, look how close Russell is to the backside of Ghiotto. He's going down the inside into Piratella. Will he get the move done in the Italian as they go side by side down towards Acqua Minerale? But no, Ghiotto holds on to 3rd place, and now Nato has caught up to this battle as well. So we have a big scrap going on for 3rd place as Russell looks to get onto the podium in this race now then as they make their way down towards the chicane. Ghiotto not out of the blue yet in trying to get a home podium. Out of the chicane we go, down towards the 2 Lavazza corners we will go. As meantime, Sirotkin has started to fall back a bit now from Vries, so Vries looking good for pole position tomorrow. Down towards the 2 Lavazzas we go. And now into the 2nd Lavazza we will soon go on the track. Let's see the gap between the 2 Academy teammates now then of Gasly and Seti Kamara as they make their way into the first 3 turns now then. And the gap between the pair of them is now, let's have a look, 1.77. So in fact, Gasly's up the gap by a tenth as we've got 3 laps remaining. Meantime, Russell on the back of Ghiotto. Will he get the move done on the Italian? He looks to the inside into turn 1. Will he get the move done? Down the inside. Ghiotto having to hang it around the outside as he holds on to third. Nato closing a little bit more onto this scrap now, then in towards the Villeneuve chicane we go. Russell on the inside of Ghiotto. Will he get the move done? No, again, Ghiotto shutting the door into the Villeneuve chicane now then as they make their way up towards the left-hander. As now around this left-hander we go. And Russell really trying to get third if he can. Can he try and get him up towards Piratella? He tried to do it earlier, but can he try and pull it off this time? Up towards Piratella. Ghiotto goes defensive. Russell flicks it to the inside. Will Russell get the move done this time? By and no! Oh no, he hits Ghiotto off. Ghiotto hits a wheel. Russell has punted Ghiotto off the track. And well, this could be another flip in the championship as well. Let's have a look and see. Russell tried to go for a late minute move and then punts the side of Ghiotto, and Ghiotto is out of his home race, so that will have to be investigated after the race as Russell pushes Ghiotto off. That will be investigated after the race. Stroll takes advantage of Nato being held up by Russell, and Stroll gets up to 4th place, and Sirotkin now finds himself over to 8th place into the points, so Sirotkin will find himself on pole position. So that's that then really, and well, what can you say about that as a result? And now into the chicane we will go, and now into the 2 Ravazza corners we will go on the track. Ravazza 1 and 2, and so that's that then really as far as that's concerned, as they make their way around the Ravazzas now then. Wow, under investigation there then. Russell and Ghiotto's crash. Onto the penultimate lap of the race then is Pierre Gasly as they now approach the chicane on the track. In towards the Villeneuve chicane we go, and coming off the turn we go, and that's that really as far as they are concerned. So now out of the left-hander we go before approaching Piratella. And so now into Piratella we go, and Gasly continuing to lead the way at this stage. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that, as now as you can see Sirotkin trying to hunt down Gasly for the lead of the race, and as you can see he's trying to gain onto him into the 2 Ravazza corners. So now into Ravazza 1 and into Ravazza 2 we go now then, and now in towards the final 2 turns we go. And let's see the gap anywhere. I don't think Sirotkin is going to get close enough to get Gasly. So meantime, round the final corner, Pierre Gasly is about to start his final lap here at Imola. It's been a very lucky victory, it must be said. Well, very lucky race for Gasly. He started He started in 3rd place on the grid, managed to hold on to third, was trying to chase down Norris. Norris went off, got up into 2nd place, and then with all the luck in the world, Rosenqvist crashes out in front of him, and as a result, he grabs the lead from him as a result. And if he can just keep this up at this stage of the race, Gasly is looking good to get his 3rd victory of the season in Ecademy, to get a 1-2 finish here at Imola. And well, that's that really, as Nato and Lynn fight it out for 5th place at the moment, as Sirotkin is now all over the backside of Vries, so we could have some more positions gained by the end of the race. And well, what can you say about that then really, as we now go up towards the Piratella. Lynn trying to find a way through on Norman Nato now then, as they go up towards the Piratella. Isn't able to make the move stick on him there, and again Sirotkin also unable to find a way through on Vries. Down towards Aquamilarali. Lynn looks to the inside, but Nato shuts the door. Sirotkin looks to the inside, but Vries shuts the door on him. So it looks like those positions are going to get settled with. But meantime, here's Pierre Gasly, who's just coming around the 2 Ravazza corners now then on the track, closely followed by teammate Sergey. It'll be the perfect end of the race and a perfect photo finish for for Ecademy now then as they round the final corner, and after a whole lot of luck, it is going to be Pierre Gasly who wins the feature race here at Imola. Congratulations to him and the Ecademy team. He takes his third victory of the season and pulls away a little bit more to Lando Norris in their fight for third in the Drivers' Championship. Sergey finally gets some good luck to finish in second, getting his first GP2 podium, and Ecademy's first, and a 1-2 finish for Ecademy. George Russell for now finishes in third because of the investigation. Lance Stroll fourth, Nato fifth, Lynn sixth, closely followed by Vries in seventh. Sirotkin finishes in eighth. For now, will be on pole. It all depends though on what the investigation will be like for Russell. Jolyon ninth, Palmer 10th, Fenestrez 11th, Razia 12th, Masashita 13th, Vips in 14th. Evans will cross the line in 15th position, so it'll be 15th place for the Kiwi as he makes his way around the last two turns. So 15th place will go Mitch Evans. Lando Norris is going to cross the line in 16th. Santiago Urishia 17th for him. Ticked him 18th. Yura 19th. Ericsson in 20th position. And there you have it then, guys. In the end, Pierre Gasly won the race in the end. It's a 1-2 finish for Ecademy and a very lucky victory for Pierre Gasly. He's third of the season. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the results of the feature race here at Imola. Pierre Gasly won the race with Sergey second, George Russell for now in third because of the investigation, Lance Stroll fourth, Nato fifth, Alex Lynn sixth, Nyck de Vries seventh, Sergey Sirotkin eighth, Sean Galao ninth, Jolyon Palmer 10th, Sashi Fenestrez 11th, Louis Razia 12th, Nebahara Masashita 13th, Yuri Vips in 14th position. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, it's Mitch Evans 15th, Lando Norris 16th, Santiago Urishia 17th, Dan Ticktum 18th, Luca Ghiotto 19th, Joel Eriksson 20th, Luca Ghiotto classified in 21st, and the only retirement classified being Felix Rosenqvist down there. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race then, who's going away with the bonus point. Let's have a quick look. And it was Sergio Setikamara with a 1 minute 29.785. So along with the 8 points he gets for second place, he also gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He was 500 quicker than Felix Rosenqvist in the end. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for the feature race for IFMC GP2. GP2 will be back tomorrow for the sprint race at 3:30 PM BST. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is race 1 of IFMC GP3, which sees Daniel Kvyat on pole position and Ferdinand Hasberg and Jack Aitken. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, you can. The podium for GP2 is coming your way just after this. But until then, I've been JWF1. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Enjoy the GP2 podium.